Hello, everybody, and welcome to this. This is your weekly WWE's main event review for the 21st of April 2016. There's lots of different labels and dates that you could really summarize this event as. You could call it the 19th, you could call it the 20th if you watch it on Hulu, but I watched it on Sky Sports. So that's what I'm reporting it and talking about it as. You're looking on the screen right now is prowrestling.me. Sorry about the buzz. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's not what I wanted. Basically, right now it's 1:07 a.m. and I'm absolutely flabbergasted, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean flabbergasted. I'm absolutely emotionally battered. I'm torn to pieces. And basically, what happened is I shouldn't really tell you this, but hey ho. Basically, my girlfriend went out today. Well, this evening. It's currently 1:07 a.m. and then she went out about 7:30. She went out drinking with some of her friends. And they were only at a friend's house, but a friend's house was in place A, and her house, which she was getting home to, is place B. I was like, "Do you want me to come get you?" Blah blah blah. She's like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm just gonna walk home." I said, "Text me to make sure I know you're walking home because it's a 20-minute walk. If you're drunk, I do not know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to help you. I do not know any of this." Okay, so I'm now sat there and I'm waiting. Okay, the last conversation was around 10:30. She seemed very happy, very chirpy. Well, you would if you were dating me, but I digress. And then all of a sudden, I stopped getting texts, and I'm thinking, I don't know what to do. I sent a text saying, just checking in to make sure you're okay and having fun. That's it. See, what a good guy. That's at 11:52. We're now 1:08 and nothing. Maybe she fell asleep at a friend's house. Maybe blah blah blah, but I was just about to hit the rack. Not only am I in the middle of watching Homeland, which is a very intense television series, I'm also in the middle of. I just finished watching Lucha Underground, and I heard no words from Dave Coco or Mr. Boom Booms, or I might hit up Sammy Sinister, but I have to find out how to hit the guy. Well, not literally hit him, hit him up. But again, this is a main event review. I'm not expecting this one to get a lot of views. That's why I'm kind of waffling on here. But, this is just a really very different show. So I apologize if you hear any beeps in the background. That's me leaving my phone on, which I don't normally do, to be able to listen to make sure if it happens. Okay, so if there is any beeping in the background, I do apologize. This is your weekly WWE's main event review. So the official review kind of starts now. So make sure you put in the comments, was this show a win? Was this show a loss? Was this show a tie? For one, I'm going to give this show, I'm going to give it what should I give it? I'm going to give it a weak win because out of all the shows this week that I've watched, certainly I've watched Lucha Underground, I watched Monday Night Raw, I watched Superstars because I was there live for London, hence why I was not on the Monday Night Raw review. What else have I watched? I'm halfway through Impact. I'll be definitely checking that out. I'm bringing a review soon. But I apologize for the lack of the content that I've been delivering. I've just been really hitting up prowrestling.me very hard. And as you can see on front of your screen, I'm now on the news section. You can sign up on the top right if you see where my mouse is, where it says LK. You can sign out. You can basically sign up. It's 100% completely free, ladies and gentlemen. 100% completely free. And it's strange how we have certain amount of subscribers and not a lot of people really hitting prowrestling.me. Well, there is obviously people, that's why it's active, but get active on there. I post news on there. If you want to be a news poster, hit me up or hit Coco up or hit someone up and we'll see how you go, see how you do, maybe give you a trial or something like that. But please just head over to pressing.me, hit the sign up button and get interactive. We respond to comments all the time. It's just a great atmosphere. It's like a pro wrestling pub. Nothing but professional wrestling is allowed on prowrestling.me. Podcasts are posted on there. You can post your own photos, videos, blogs. If you want to write a blog, go on there. We have awards. We have a gimmick table if you want something to pay for. If you have a t-shirt or blah blah blah, we have rules. Very very few rules, but there's a certain imbecilic sack of shit people that came aboard which made us have to rules. We have a forum where we interact quite frequently actually. So head over there. The topic recently is Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song, so definitely head over to pressing.me and I post regular news updates. I've been doing this now for about a week, properly cracking down on the news, and I posted my main event results. So obviously the show took place in the O2 Arena in London, and in the opening match we had Apollo Crews knocking off my boy Axel in a very teary-eyed moment for me. You guys know my loyal support, my unalterated passion and loyalty to one Mr. Curtis Axel. It very upsets me to see him on main event, but in the end of the day, he's getting one-on-one action. And I'm going to be honest with you, this match went, I think it was 12 to 10 minutes. Like, it went a very, very long time. Now, I wasn't expecting this to get time. I thought okay, Apollo Crews is going to get the win, and it's going to be off to the races, and off we go, next match. But this is what's great about Main Event. It's an hour's action. I'd say 40 minutes minus the Raw rebound of just good in-ring wrestling. This was a good, acceptable wrestling match. There was a good stint of heel heat, which actually allowed Axel to gain the heel heat. I don't know if this was because this was a SmackDown taping in England and London, that they were more appreciative of one Mr. Curtis Axel. I do not know if this is the case. However, he was extremely over. And that's nothing but a good thing in my eyes. I'm a huge fan of Curtis Axel. I have been for a very, very long time. I was a big fan of his work in FCW, and then moving up to the main roster, part of the new Nexus. And then going forward, then he changed his name to Curtis Axel, aligned with Paul Heyman, won the IC title Payback a few years ago, defeated Triple H and John Cena, be it via disqualification or countout or some dusty finish. But at the end of the day, he still knocked off Triple H and John Cena. And that's a good thing. And to what he is now, part of the social outcast, the Jobbers 2.0, it upsets me. But in the end of the day, he's still getting paid. He's making money up in this mug. He's living his dream, obviously, in the WWE. And it's just upsetting. But anyway, it was a really good... I actually generally recommend you to watch that. It's not a go out of your way to watch this. It's just, if you have a spare 10 to 15 minutes, you've watched SmackDown, you've watched Raw, and you're a WWE exclusive fan, I would give it a watch. But there's so better wrestling out there, but then there's always better wrestling out there than WWE. And my passion, really, for the WWE is, I put this on my Twitch, and you can follow me on Twitter at LK Wrestling. I'll follow you back as long as you don't harass me or mentally break me. I will follow you back. And I put a tweet out, and it was saying, I was at London. I was at the O2 Arena for Monday Night Raw Live, and my passion for the WWE has dropped. And I don't know why, because we're in the middle of a stage where they're kind of resetting the table or rebooting the card as such. But my passion for the WWE as a whole has megally dropped. Being there live, I enjoyed Superstars thoroughly, because, we had Kalisto versus Tyler Breeze. I won't give out any spoilers, because obviously it airs tomorrow night in the WWE Network, in case any of you are going to watch that. It was Tyler Breeze versus Kalisto, went out nearly 10 minutes in a great outing. And a pretty damn good match. Obviously, I wouldn't give away spoilers. But anyway, and, I enjoyed it. Then you had the opening to Raw. You had Shane McMahon. It was great. It was electric. By the way, the crowd were much louder than TV brought it. Booing Reigns was fun. AJ coming out. I've seen AJ in a TNA ring, a Revolution Pro Wrestling ring, and a WWE ring now. That's pretty cool to take to the grave. There's lots of great things about Raw. But then the final 2 hours, it was so depressing. I was bored. I wanted to be at home with my girlfriend watching Homeland. I could have been doing a podcast. I could have been having a wank. I could have been asleep. I could have been doing anything. People in front of me were watching the Tottenham Hotspur versus Stoke City game on their mobile phones, which really made me laugh. I should have took a photo, but I didn't want to, look like a fucking creepy guy taking photos. There's literally a row, and there was one gentleman there, one gentleman to the side, and they were both watching the Tottenham Hotspur versus Stoke City game. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a good thing in theory, showing the lack of respect to the WWE, saying, look, I would much rather be on my phone watching a Stoke City game whilst in your building, whilst watching your program that sucks. And it was during the talk about it really during the Apollo Crews match. That's why the crowd was so dead, and I felt bad for Crews. If Crews came out maybe second match, I think it could have been a hot reaction for the guy. But if you've noticed the past few weeks, Crews has been that buffer match just before the main event. You ain't going to get a good reaction. The crowd, you got to understand, it's all right for us who complain about 3 hours and 15 minutes, but they have to sit through Superstars before, then the hour, maybe hour and a half wait in the building, and then the wait before where the crowd is still chanting, really, so you're still using your voice. You're actually going to be bored and mentally drained. And that's one thing that I noted. By I'd say at the halfway point, I'd say by the Usos and the Vaudevillains, I was ready to call it a night. I just had zero interest in the show, and that's not because the product's bad. Because as like this show said, if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I would recommend to not go to WWE Live if it's gonna be a Raw TV tape. Maybe go to SmackDown and Main Event, because SmackDown and Main Event have been excellent recently, and I always put over SmackDown. It's a very enjoyable show, but to go to a Raw TV taping, if you've never been to a Raw TV, or you haven't been since the changeover to 3 hour format, I really think it's definitely not worth going. because you sit there bored and contemplating what you're doing with your life, and it was boring. I was dull. I was depressed. I wanted to go home. People in front of me watching fucking soccer games or football games, other you imbeciles like to call it in America, and it upsets me because at the end of the day, I paid hard-earned money for those tickets. I've got some live comments here. Bobby Bay Paris says that's when main event airs. Yeah, main event airs on Sky Sports 4 over here in England because it's not capable of getting a 3 or a 2 or a 1 because it's WWE. It means nothing over here for some reason, and the ratings suck. People say Impact TV ratings are great. No, they're not. They get beaten every single. They're not even the number one most watched show on their station. So everyone who says TNA Impact Wrestling is big in the UK is a liar. And I don't want to get on my Impact rant because then I'll get the Impact defenders in the comments, which is very amusing. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest. I don't. It's ridiculous. People call how over Impact is. If you check the TV ratings and viewership figures over here in England, soap operas are doing 10 to 8 million viewers every day. Soccer games get near the million, near the 2 million, and then you get, because you got to remember England is like half. I wouldn't say half. I'd say 1/25 of the size of America. So actually, an 8 million is actually incredible. And a 1 million viewership is incredible if you consider the size of the country. And Impact is getting like 200,000, less than Impact on Pop. And Challenge is available in every single home that there is. So obviously either people are watching it online like myself. I'm not going to wait for a Sunday to watch Impact because I have to review it. But sometimes I don't watch. I find when I watch Impact, I have to be motivated. I know this is a main event review, but let's call a spade a spade. No one is here to listen to me talk about main event and break it down and analyze it. You're just here to listen to a guy talk and waffle on because I don't know, because maybe you enjoy the personalities or you're bored and have nothing better to do, or you accidentally clicked it. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. Probably half of you are turned off by now. But if you are, thanks for sticking with me. This has been a lollygagging show, and I do apologize. We do get them every now and then. And it's just, it really antagonizes me and it really intensifies me when people are saying, oh, it's so big in the UK. No, it's not. The difference is people in the UK are willing to pay for things. We're willing to pay to go to events. People in America, everyone complains saying about Impact, how it's in such a shitter situation right now. How about those fans buy some merchandise to help the company out? Why don't they just buy a shirt? Buy a shirt, buy a DVD, help them out. If my favorite company, if I don't really I support the sport more than I support a company, but if I had to have a company I'd particularly want to watch, it would have to be Progress. I'm a huge Progress fan. I want to support them. How did I support them? I bought the on-demand service, and I bought the Progress Wrestling jumper. And that I've only known this company now for about 3-4 months. There's people who claim to be Impact fans now for 6 years. What much do they have? Do they pay for pay-per-views? No. And they wonder why the company's going under. I blame the hardcore fans because in the end of the day, TNA can't put on pay-per-views because the hardcores won't buy them. And it's really hard for them. But in the end of the day, what can you do? And how the fuck I've gone on to a lot waffle on about Impact is beyond me. We'll move back on to the main event reviews. We had Summer Rae defeating Alicia Fox in what, I'll be honest with you, an actually damn good outing from these women. I wasn't expecting much when they came out. I thought, oh, God. So they locked up. It was decent stuff. There was decent back and forth, nice technical work. And at one point, Alicia Fox went for it because when they get thrown in the corner, sometimes they do this thing where they jump over. Well, basically, she used her athleticism to basically sit on the top rope. And as she sat on the top rope, Summer Rae hit a spin kick of death. And I mean a spin kick of death, taking her damn head off. And Alicia Fox from the top rope sat there, bumped to the floor ass first. It looked brutal. It looked fucking incredible. I was very, very, very impressed with the height. Alicia Fox sold it well. It looked great and crisp. It really did. Commentators, by the way, were Rich Brennan and Jerry Lawler. So Jerry Lawler was just there making jokes like, "Oh, jokes like Alicia Fox looks as battered as the fish and chips I had today." King, you're very funny. God, King's an imbecile. I prefer him as a heel. I much prefer him as a heel. But by God, comments like that really pissed me off. Unbelievable. That might have been a bit racist. But anyway, I digress. No one watches main event, apart from me. I only watch main event because it's about half an hour long, and I'm trying to stay up because I want my damn imbecilic girlfriend to text me back so I know she's not fucking lying in a ditch somewhere. I shouldn't really say that, because if she's lying in a ditch now, I'm going to fucking cry and I'm going to blame myself. Well, I'm not going to blame myself. Obviously, I didn't do it. I'm sat here in my fucking PWME UK headquarters. But it'll be nice if, you returned your text to your awesome boyfriend. Anyway, Summer Rae got the win, basically. She has it in a reverse DDT position and then swings her left leg over and slams them down. It's a pretty damn good finish, and Summer Rae really has improved. I mean, this time last year, I would have dreamt of saying in a pretty good outing earlier on, she had a damn good match here, and I was thoroughly entertained. I was sports entertained. I was even wrestling entertained. I want to see more. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Summer can bring to the table. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe some more matches with some better talent. Nothing against Alicia Fox, but maybe on next week's main event, we see again maybe Summer Rae versus Paige, or Summer Rae versus Natalia, or Sasha Banks, or Becky Lynch, or Charlotte, just to see if she can really hang with the big dogs. But good outing. I was thoroughly impressed from Summer, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for her in the future. Then the main event. You obviously have to bring it down. You can't have a show that's a win from WWE, so you have to knock it down to a tie, because this was bad. Kane and Big Show defeat Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman because it makes sense. It doesn't really make sense. Braun Strowman is meant to be this beast, even though he just lost in the tag match. Wyatt family are nothing without Bray Wyatt or Luke Harper. And they shouldn't even be on television. I know it's only main event. Get them off television. When they come back, then they'll be more fresh. They'll be more, you'll be excited to see them because you haven't seen them in a while. They can spring them up and make a surprise and attack someone. If you're a babyface, make a surprise and save a babyface. If you want them to bring them back and make them heel, have them surprisingly attack someone. Make them interesting, spice them up a little bit, and then build them properly instead of just chucking them out their main event because you want them to have something to do on television. That's not the way how it should work. And it annoyed me. I'm going to be honest with you. Kane got a pop, which makes me say a happy boy, because you guys know I'm a Kane fan. And I'm not already a Kane fan. I just respect the guy. And Big Show, he got his usual pop. But the English crowd are a lot nicer than most crowds, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So that's going to wrap it up for this week's main event review. We have Ray Mustani in the comments section. This will not do it for this week's main event review. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thoughts on... oh, damn. I'm not moving that. Let's see. Here we go. So, Ray Mustani, the king of comments, puts thoughts on China's death. Yeah, that's really sad, isn't it? I mean, I was going to do a show on that, but I saw Boom's covered it earlier on this channel. By the way, just to let you guys know, we did not enable advertisements for that video. We do not believe in that. So just a little pat on the backs to ourselves. We could have been some of these people who I put on my Twitter, and again, you can find him on Twitter at LK Wrestling. I did specifically say you are a scumbag if you enable adverts on your article, on your blog, on your YouTube, because it's going to get views, because it's the death of China, and then that's making money off talking about someone dying. So I take great pride, and honestly, I do. It may sound sad, but I take great pride in working for this company. Lots of other scummy companies thought that would be a good way to make money, but we don't. And I honestly, I really think that's a great idea and just a class act. But the question, I'm going to take a pause to the cause and drink some Pepsi. China's death was really upsetting. I mean, I woke up around about 10 a.m. and I got a text from one of my wrestling friends, like real life friends. Not that, you guys aren't my friends or anything, just, one of my people I actually physically talk to. And I was there, and they're like, did you hear? I'm like, oh, dude, it's like 9 a.m. Dude, chill out. What? China died. I'm like, fuck off. Like, that's just something that, not they would do, but, I could picture it. So I go on my Twitter machine, and boof, there it is. Hashtag RIP China, trending #1 trend worldwide. And I was there like, oh, man, just, it's such so bad. And what makes it worse is WWE going to put her in the Hall of Fame, which I think is an absolute disgrace. Not that she doesn't deserve it, but because they do it when she dies. She spent her whole life, her whole career, the rest of her life, after she left already, for the past 2 years, I'd say, she's been begging and pleading to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Begging and pleading. It's what's on her mind. It's what she talks about. It's like it's like an obsession with her. She and they're not going to let her in because she had to do a porno. But how about this? If Triple H didn't fuck Stephanie and cheat on her, which means her role in the company was close to null and void because you can't work there when your fucking ex who fucked the boss's daughter's working there. No, you have to get out. So she got out. They copyrighted the name China, so all the hard work she put in, and she did. I mean, she was the first ever Intercontinental Champion. She defeated Jeff Jarrett in an absolutely incredible match. It wasn't incredible. It was a good match. I'm not going to go overboard. I'm not going to lie. It was a good match. And then we had, her with her second IC title at SummerSlam 2000, teaming up with another passing away member, Eddie Guerrero, as they defeated Val Venus, who was champ at the time, and Trish Stratus in a mixed tag in one of Trish Stratus's first really early matches. And it was just, a former King of the Ring competitor, first ever in 1999, first ever Royal Rumble participant. There was just so much she did and really transcended women's wrestling into, hey, look, they're not just beautiful. They can kick your ass and they can kick men's ass. Now, I may not be the strongest for male on female action in pro wrestling. I may not have the strongest feeling to that, but at least now it's an option. And because of people and women like China, that's possible. If there was no China, would there be, Tamina or Natalia? Because they're not the most attractive people in the world, but they are big and they are, well, not big, they're muscly. And, and people like Nia Jax, would Nia Jax have a job right now? Probably not. But for people like China, she has one. She mixed up with the men and it looked credible. She didn't go out there and make it look so unrealistic. It looked credible. I mean, she used to throw Chris Jericho around. That looked credible. And it's a testament to what a good worker she is and how good she acted. And she was part of DX. And just such a sad loss. And it's really upsetting because, as a child, I first got into pro wrestling in January of 2001. So, I saw my first Mania. Well, my first Mania live was Mania 24, but the first Mania where it was on VHS when it came out, it was, China winning against Ivory at WrestleMania 17. And then you had, the rival of Lita in 2001. And then she left because she couldn't take it no more. And it's sad. And the way WWE deny her. And then Stephanie McMahon wishing condolences to fuck off. Trying to make them like the nice people, and Triple H saying, "Oh, I'm going to induct her in the Hall of Fame." Yeah, you are now. She's not here. You scum fuckers. That's disgusting and despicable, and you should have nightmares tonight. And I hope you do. I hope it haunts you. I hope she haunts you. That's disgusting and despicable, and I'm damn ashamed to cover this company right now. That's why I didn't want to particularly break down my thoughts, because I'm more not thinking of her because it's not that I don't want to think of her, because like I just talked about. But in the end of the day, I don't like how the W handled this by Triple H going out there, who publicly said not going to put her in a porno while she's alive, now saying, "Oh, I might now she's dead," pretty much, which is absolutely disgusting. He should be damn ashamed of himself. Are you doing a SmackDown review tomorrow? Tomorrow I will, Ray Mustani. Is WWE now going to put China in the Hall of Fame? Probably. Now she's not there. Disgusting. Thoughts on the Bullet Club segment? I was there live and I enjoyed it. Of course I was there. I enjoyed it. I was there live. It's just not first time. Well, it's not my first time. I saw Gallows and Anderson at a Revolution Pro Wrestling event in November. That was it, called Global Wars. You can watch it on the New Japan World or Revolution Pro Wrestling on Demand. So I enjoyed it, but I now honestly think that Bullet Club going to turn on AJ Styles. I hate it when Dodie puts in the Hall of Fame after they die. Yep, scummy move. It's been a month since I got laid. Oh, dude, you need to go get laid. Do you see Reigns forming the Roman Empire? Yeah, that's possible. WWE are pathetic. Expected a porno, and he's still mentioned. Yeah, exactly. It's in the end of the day, it's all political bullshit. It's as Coco says best, it's a monopoly. It's not about what you did. It's about if they like you. That's all that matters. How would you book AJ versus Reigns? I don't mind how they're booking it now. Giving they've added the element of the Bullet Club or the Baylor Club or the Bulletproof, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and now that adds a different dimension and that adds depth to the rivalry. And I really like. There's so many directions you could go down. And I really did like that. Is Triple H to blame for China not being in the Hall of Fame? Do you really reckon Stephanie wants Triple H's ex in the Hall of Fame? Did you boo Roman Reigns? Yes. The boos were ridiculous for Roman Reigns, and I mean absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've never heard boos like that for anyone. Like, he couldn't talk because there were boring chants so loud you could barely hear anyone. Fucking, it was ridiculous. He was over, but not over in a good way. He's polarizing, as Michael Cole would call him, but he's an imbecile. Thanks for live comments, Raymond Stanley. Always good to have you on the live commenters. I'll be back with a maybe a Lucha Underground review, depend if I hit the sack, which will depend on if I get text back or not, because if not, I'm just going to wait for Mr. KocoSports and Booms or someone to just reply if they're going to do a Lucha Underground review, because I don't want to review it and then no one's there, and then they're going to say, oh, why didn't you wait? So it's just all this and that. So I hope you enjoy this main event review. Sorry it's been so damn long. Thank you for sticking with me for this show. It's a bit more laid back, a bit more relaxed, because it's only main event. So make sure you check out KocoSports.net and ProWrestling.me, as you see on the screen right now. Make sure you sign up 100% completely free and get interactive. There's news that you can comment on. There's blogs you can write and comment on. If you want to be a writer for the news, hit us up at ProWrestling.me. So like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching this. Stay safe, stay well. This is your boy, OK, and I'll be catching your asses down the line.